and gentlemen, let me specially recognize my dear friend, Thomas Udam, aka Timitom, the Honorable Commissioner for Power. Let me recognize my friend, former D, a business mogul in Abuja. I recognize everybody on the high table staying in home, defense, Mr. Ike, ONIGA, Mr. ONIGA. Before we came here, we christened him, we christened Ike ONIGA. We gave him a Bekwarra name, so Mr. ONIGA. I recognize Honorable MR&MRS, Oga, the former Speaker, Cross River House of Assembly. I recognize my very good friend, Godwin Iyala. I recognize Legor Idagbo. I recognize everybody seated on that other side of the high table. Simeon Tamu, I recognize you. Ima, I recognize you. I recognize everybody. Godwin Iyala and his very dear wife. I recognize you. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I recognize you all. Today we are gathered to celebrate two virtues. I call them two virtues because of their names: patience and pious. It's a wonderful combination. It's a combination that can never go wrong. Patience is a virtue. Pious is another virtue. So we are gathered to celebrate the two of you. And as we gather here, I want to remind everybody that when Pius ONIGA came to my house and told me he was getting married, I know him as a struggling young industrious Bekwarra son. I know him to be based in Abuja. I know him to have all his contacts and connections in Abuja. Matter of fact, I will tell you a story. There was a day an oil company called me and said they needed to see me with their legal advisor. And I said, okay, come to my office. And when they appeared in my office, lo and behold, Pius ONIGA was their legal advisor. Wedding, traditional and white wedding, was Bekwarra. It reminded me of a lot of things. And particularly reminded me of my own wedding. I remember that in 2007, I was chairman of Bekwarra local government. And when I decided to get married, I went to the sitting governor of Cross River State, Senator Liel Imoki. And I told him that I intended to get married. I introduced my wife to him and he said, Chairman, where will your wedding be? I said, I'm thinking of Calabar or Abuja. And he said, you are Chairman Bekwarra. Have you heard how powerful that name is? Why will you marry in Calabar? And I said, you give me a hint, sir. And I did my wedding in Bekwarra. And everybody that mattered attended my wedding. And that in itself has been a blessing to me politically. So when Pius told me he was getting married in Bekwarra, I said, this man reminds me of myself. This man reminds me of how I started. And it's because of him that I suspended everything I was doing in Abuja and decided to come to Bekwarra. I did not only decide on my own to come to Bekwarra, but I decided to invite everybody that is close and dear to me to accompany me to come and celebrate this very young and fantastic gentleman. Patience, your husband has started well. He will grow because of how he has started. I was telling Tom and Tomagi, I said since I met Pius and we've been relating politically, he has never one day picked up his phone and asked me for anything for himself. Anytime he calls me, he's talking about other people. There is this lady that is pregnant. How can we help her? There is this gentleman. How can we help him? He needs school fees. Everything he has called me to ask me of is not for himself, but for other people. Pius, I am happy that I came here. And I needed to give this message before your wife. You are a good man. You have started well. And we will water you until you grow to the peak. In politics, you need to hand over the baton to the younger generation. As our generation ages out, this is the younger generation that will take over from us. A man like this that has a good heart, that talks not for himself, but for other people, this is the kind of person I will celebrate. This is the kind of person I will suspend whatever I'm doing and come to attend his wedding. And I did not come alone. I came with my wife. She's on her way. She will soon be here. I don't go for occasions with her very often. But for me to carry her with me, you should understand how important this wedding is to me. But aside from the politics, Pius, let me advise you and your dear wife, Patience. The decision you have taken today is a personal decision to get married to her. It's not a community decision. It's not a decision that involves any other person. You sent us invitation. We just came here in respect of you, and some people came here in respect of your wife. But as you move on into this very tricky institution called marriage, remember that this is a decision that you took. The decision that you took was not a decision to be in love with Patience. Today, Patience is very beautiful. She has swag. I saw her dancing yesterday. I was saying, if she gets swag, will not be small. She gets swag. She's young. But as the years go by, she may lose some of that swag. The younger people coming behind you may have more swag. Please do not allow distractions take the better of you. Focus on her, because your vows that you took today in the church were the vows to love Patience for better and for worse. As you guys grow older, Patience, even when Pius begins to get gray hair, even when he begins to get bored, remember that you did not promise to be in love with him. Because to be in love and to love are two very different things. The feeling of being in love hits you and you run with it. But the promise to love means that even when you don't have that feeling of being in love, you remember that you promised to love and you show that love. Even in anger, even in frustration, even when she does the worst thing any human being can do, and vice versa, remember the vows you took before the altar of God. That you promise God that you will love your wife, and that you promise God that you will love your husband. That is the journey of marriage. It's not smooth. The celebration of the wedding may confuse you to think that marriage is rosy and smooth. After today, you begin the journey, which is a turbulent one. And as you move, remember the vows you took today. There's a story I always tell of the secret of a happy married life. And I would like to tell that story today. They asked a particular lady, what is the secret of your happy marriage? And the lady said, I take the small decisions and I allow my husband take the big decisions. And they asked the lady, what are the small decisions that you take? She said, I take small decisions like how many children we will have. I take small decisions like which schools the children will attend. I take small decisions like how to spend my husband's salary. And the person interviewing her said, okay, if you take these ones as small decisions, what are the big decisions you allow for your husband? And she said, I allow big decisions like who will win the next elections in 2023 for my husband. Big decisions like who will win the Premier League to my husband. Big decisions like whether we should support no, not Arsenal, Joe Biden, or whether Donald Trump was doing better. Those decisions I leave to my husband to take. That is the secret of a happy married home. So pious, as you move forward, know the decisions you should take and know the ones your wife should take. But in summary, the way I saw you dancing in here, the love I've seen since I came in yesterday, I know that you both will sit together and take both the small and big decisions together. All I will assure you on behalf of everybody here is that when you come to celebrate the good things that come with a happy marriage, the child dedications, the naming ceremonies, the birthdays, you can be rest assured of our support. On behalf of everybody here, I want to wish pious and patience a very happy marriage. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.